Hello, and welcome to the 22nd episode of the TheDarkNest Podcast. I am your host, TDN Horror Stories. As always, I'm joined by my feathered co-host, As the Raven Dreams.
Hello.
I think last week I had you as winged or feathered. I always
Yeah.
flip-flop. I don't know which to
I
call
think
you.
I was winged last week.
I was gonna call you Bird Boy today, but I decided not to. And today, we have a guest that takes horror narrations and does something a little bit more unique from the rest. Most of us either do true or fiction to differentiate from each other, but what if the topics of the stories were the base of the channel? From Lovecraftian monsters to unfathomable space expeditions, this man has got you covered with stories to keep you thinking. Please give a warm welcome to Magnetar.
Hey all, thank you so much for having me on. And yeah, I'm in desperate need of a warm welcome. It's a little chilly
It's
and
fucking
snowy
cold
out
as
here.
shit right now. It is. Help me. First off, I gotta say, congrats on 400 subs, and you hit it by the podcast, which
Yes.
was what we wanted to happen. You posted on
Yeah,
Twitter, like, hey, can you get me here? And
yeah, I really appreciate the help kind of amplifying that.
yeah, but the funny part was that when I saw it, you were like 3 subs away, and when I actually sent out the tweet, it was like 1 sub away, so I really didn't do anything.
Well, hey, it's something, man. Yeah, I think
happened, I
last
guess.
week I was at 401, I think, which is
Congrats, though. That's not a small number.
amazing. Yeah, thank you so much. It's when I started this, obviously, I think when most of us start this, we don't have any sort of delusions of grandeur or anything like
Right.
that. Not that I'm saying I'm like something grand now, but
Yeah.
it's just very humbling, and it kind of shows me that there's, interest in kind of the stories that I'm highlighting and the topics that I explore.
The funny part about it is that most of the people I meet now don't have that. Because I don't know how it was for you, because I know your channel is still fairly young. Just under or over a year at this point, right?
Yeah, I think I posted my first video sometime in mid-July.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact day.
Okay.
So I don't know how it was for you guys. I know for me it was a very, very like hard start. Like I didn't get any traction for probably the first 7 or 8 months, and
Mhm.
it out of nowhere, it just like I talked to the right people, and then I found the horror. I didn't know of the horror community until 6 or 7 months in. So that whole point, I was just posting to no one. So I don't know how it was for you, but like from what I can tell, all the like newer channels now are like getting on a little bit better. Like they're starting and kind of like, since they find the horror community basically immediately, they have like more of a community to help them figure shit out and also
Mhm.
put their name out there. So I don't know if
Right.
that's how it went for you, but it's kind of what it seems like on the surface. That I'm not saying you're not struggling to make anything for yourself, but it's a little bit more easier now that you know that the community itself exists.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah, I totally agree. I think the first thing that kind of surprised me, and not that I don't think any of you guys are great people, is just how accepting and how supportive everybody in this community is. I think when I posted my first video in July, I shared it on a couple like Reddit channels and did tweet it, but I didn't really have much connections. But then I think the very first person in this community I followed, I think was Creeps McPasta. He's kind of the name here. But
Right.
the second person I followed was As the Raven Dreams,
Mhm.
and he followed me back, and I remember messaging him, and I was just kind of blown away that a channel that was at the still bigger than mine would follow me and responded, and he was just so welcoming and offered me advice, and we talked about like Audacity and all sorts of different things, and I'm happy that since then he and I have stayed in touch and even collaborated a few months ago. So
Speaking of which, I want to get you on if you're able to at some point, because
yeah,
I think your voice is top notch. There's not a lot of people in this community that, at least nowadays, like I walk up to and I'm just like, yo, can we do something?
Right.
It's very few and far between, because a lot of this is just how I feel personally. A lot of people do sound the same and kind of do the same thing. So I like to work with people I truly think sound different from everybody else, and I think that you're one of them, especially the type of branding you're trying to do for your channel. It's very space oriented, which is not very common. Like people like Let's Read, they'll do the space like theme, but 90% of their stories are like paranormal or like stalker. You're like purely enveloping the whole Magnetar thing. Like it's you. It's not just a custom theme that you liked, which is really cool.
Yeah. I appreciate you noticing that and appreciating that. First off, starting with my voice, I do get a lot of compliments, and again, I'm not trying to like brag or anything.
No, brag, 100%. You're the star of the show here. Brag.
Well, seriously, the point I'm trying to make is that like I really, really hate my voice, and the fact that I even started considering doing a narration channel was a bit ridiculous to me when I first started. But I was like, I always, I go on long road trips, or I, lay in bed, or just, on dark nights, rainy nights, what have you, and I listen to these stories, and I've always liked specifically, these types of stories that I do narrate on my channel, space, technology, aliens, what have you. And it's always been hard for me to sort of find specifically, those stories. I mean, there's a few playlists out there on YouTube. So what I decided to do was, start a channel where anybody could easily, ideally anybody would easily be able to find stories within that topic.
Right.
And I felt like it was sort of an untapped thing that hadn't really been addressed in the horror community. And I'm sure there's other people out there with the similar idea. And so I'm not saying I'm like the one and only, but at the very least, none of the major channels or, second tier channels or anything like that are focused on these topics like I am.
Yeah, I along the same lines. I feel like I'm starting to wean my way into a certain bracket of stories, like not just fiction, but fiction plus like these very, very specific topics that I'm consistently addicted to narrating, like bottom of the ocean, deepest fucking space. Like that's like I don't know what it is about both those things. They're two of like my biggest fears. I think that's why I enjoy narrating them so much, is because you can literally create anything to exist in either of those areas. And if you're really good at writing it, it could be amazing. Like, I bring this up a lot, but one of my favorite authors ever is H.P. Lovecraft. Because you don't know what's down there. It's the whole reason of Lovecraft is it's complete unknown. There's not supposed to be a point to any of it. It's supposed to scare the shit out of you because it's so insanely unfathomable that you can't ever conceive any particular idea of it. It's just imagination, always. And that's why the ocean is like one of the best places to base a story, because everything around it is complete mystery. We've only, I don't know what the last fucking report was, but it was only 5% of the oceans were explored. That's so much area to create something. And same thing with space. Like, we know so much about space, yet so fucking little about space. Like,
right.
It's so easy to create stories in that field. So you creating a channel about the stories that I fucking love, the stories that you pick. I love them so much. And I wish Mr. Creeps is another one that does stories like that, where he takes the story, the stories that like, they're like an hour and a half long, but still it's like, oh, this alien, we found an alien colony and we never talked about it for this reason. I fucking love those things. I love them because they're so well thought out and so weird and shit. But I'm just basically, this is my whole spiel, is appreciating the fact that you are making a channel about the stories that just make the most sense to me personally.
And seem to get the least amount of like narrators that touch them.
Yeah.
For some reason, so many of us shy away from sci-fi, and I don't understand that.
I fucking love it. I love sci-fi stories.
And yeah, of course I do too. And I think one aspect of it is maybe, when you get in some of like the real hardcore sci-fi stories, sometimes there's a lot of, jargon and sort of science-y tech talk. So maybe that's one thing that
I have experience with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second thing is, and this is unfortunate, but in terms of like the kind of short story format, not going into like the hour long stories, it's sometimes hard to find genuinely good and also unique stories within this genre that
Yeah.
haven't already been narrated like 150 times by all the other channels. There's a handful of them that are narrated by pretty much every channel, like 5 or 6 of them. But it does take time because there's, I would say, not as many authors and writers focusing on this topic as well. So there's a bit of a smaller pool to pull from. But I do have to do a shout out to the subreddit Cryosleep.
Yes.
They are, it's specifically focused on kind of like these same sort of stories, and I get a majority of my stories from that.
I didn't even know it existed.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
I've
awesome.
read some from there, and those authors there are amazing.
Like
Yeah,
I have
super
like
awesome.
niche like authors that like a niche group of authors that I kind of just like pick from every so often. I'm like, hey, can I narrate this? And like, yeah, why are you even asking? Like Sicarius and Boris and Raven and stuff. But that was funny because you completely just like blew open my whole thing. I was gonna be like, why the overall space theme? Like, but now it's gone. It's gone. Doesn't matter anymore. So for some of the people who might not know, Magnetar, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, sorry, your mic was like doing something. I thought you were talking, but I couldn't hear you. Anyway, sorry. My apologies.
Are you hearing an echo?
I'm not hearing an echo. I'm looking at the
not.
green ring on Discord, and it's kind of like flickering in and out, and you're not talking. So I thought like it cut you out or something.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so for people who might not know, and I've read the description on your, because I didn't know what it was. Explain to the lovely audience at home, if you can, what a Magnetar is and why you chose it as your name.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that, because a lot of people, again, aren't, aware of sort of all of the cosmic entities that exist in space. And oftentimes people are like, oh, did you just like misspell magnet? Like, are you dumb or something like that?
I thought Magnetar sounded cool. That's my name in World of
Yeah,
Warcraft.
exactly. I wanted to get my own spin to it.
It's my World of Warcraft character.
No, but essentially Magnetars are one of the, if not the, maybe aside from black holes, one of the most rare entities that exist in space that we've discovered. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a call on my cell phone. I think we've only discovered like 3,000 of them or something like that. 31 of them out of the 3,000 neutron stars that we've discovered. So magnetars are something that come out of and are created from neutron stars and are kind of related to pulsars and stuff like that. So 31 out of 3,000 neutron stars have become magnetars that we've discovered. And again, that's 31 objects out of like, the millions and millions of cosmic entities that we've identified, stars, planets, what have you, making them extremely, extremely rare. And I think that was just kind of that's what stood out to me, was just like this extremely powerful entity in space that no one really knows a lot about. As Raven said, we really don't know a lot about space in general, but these objects in particular, we don't know a whole lot about because we don't have a huge pool of objects to, research.
Wait, I think you just mixed us up.
That's okay.
I did. I apologize.
No, attribute it to me. I said it.
No,
okay.
The funniest part is because there's this ongoing thing that whenever we're on the same stream, some people can't tell us apart.
Which I don't understand.
Which I don't understand because I think our voices are too.
It's not that I couldn't tell you apart. It's just that
you
my
said
brain's
the wrong name. No, I thought it was a case of like, it's happening. It's happening.
No.
The man was just talking and really passionate about the subject.
Yeah, I get it. There's not a lot of people who have like proper meaning behind their stuff. I mean, like Raven has his, Poe inspiration, and I have nothing. I thought I was like I sat there for 2 fucking hours. I remember this. I sat there for 2 hours and I was like, what can I do? And I'm looking at all the names. I'm like, I can't think of anything original. And I know I narrate dark stories, so I'm gonna be the dark narrator. And then eventually, Eventually,
Yeah.
a year or two down the line, I was like, this sounds fucking stupid. And everybody just started calling me TDN over the 2.5 years. So I was like, fuck it, I'm TDN permanently. It stands for something, but we don't talk about it.
Say is that at least it's, to the point.
Yeah.
Well, on my end, if you Google or YouTube Magnetar, you'll just get
I found so much space stuff except for your
yeah,
channel.
you'll just get Science Channel space stuff.
Yeah. I think it's really cool though that you're not just doing space stories because you like space stories. Like you're doing space stories and you're basing your channel around space because you really, really like space and everything about space. Because I could not tell you off the top of my fucking head without looking at something what a magnetar is. Like I can't tell you anything about that shit. Like I love space, but I don't know nothing about it. So I think
no, it's something
really
that's
cool.
always fascinated me.
Yeah, that's really dope. Just being able to do your channel all the time because you have a passion for the overall thing instead of just the stories. Like you're finding the stories and like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And you're like, no, this is fucking awesome because it's space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I smacked my microphone.
Well, I don't let you apologize. I'm not accepting that.
Okay.
I want a full 6-page apology tonight.
Yeah, can you write us an essay, please?
You probably
On why I hit my microphone?
Yeah. And then write, I'm a bad raven on a chalkboard.
I'm a bad
200
raven.
times.
I'm a bad waven. No, it has to be waven with 2 W's. Waven.
It's got to be an uwu. I'm a bad waven.
Oh no, we need that as a fucking t-shirt. Just
Not happening.
a
Somebody
seductive
get
looking
on that
raven
right
with
now.
him putting one feather on his beak. He's
Jesus.
I'm a bad waven.
No.
Please
That's a little
make that.
little red lines on his cheeks.
Yes, and just the little kawaii eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all done or what?
No, I'm envisioning it. This will probably be the first piece of merch I'd buy from you.
I'm not buying Raven merch until I get Bad Waven merch.
There you go. There's your that's the way to
I want
incentivize
a
you.
Bad Waven mug. Please. A Bad
No.
Waven. Ooh.
You got to give the people what they want, right?
It's gonna say ooh.
Oh, what is this? Please
I
stop.
don't fucking
Please
know,
don't
but I
stop.
love it so much. Oh my god.
Oh.
So, a question that I ask pretty much everybody who comes on here for the first time. Horror movies. If you enjoy them, what is your favorite?
I'm sorry. For me, you were breaking up at the beginning there.
Oh, sorry. If you enjoy horror movies, because not everybody does. I don't really enjoy horror movies that much. If you do, what's your favorite horror movie?
Yeah, I actually really do enjoy the horror genre. I will say though that probably 99% of the time, movies that are touted as horror movies end up being comedies to me because of the poor writing or the cinematography or the music. So I oftentimes end up just making jokes and laughing the whole time.
Okay.
But if we're talking favorite, man, I gotta say probably one of my all-time favorites, and this is kind of continuing with my theme of space here, is the original Aliens film.
Ooh.
I think was fantastic. It was extremely atmospheric. I think the set design was fantastic, and it was sort of this fear of the unknown.
Can I be 100% agree
type,
with you here?
creature. Yeah.
I did not see it for the first time until a year ago.
Oh my gosh. Well, what did you think?
I loved it. It's fucking awesome.
I'm glad because I've shown it to some people and they're like, "Oh, this is old. What the heck is this?"
I'm into movies that I don't care what era they're from. My favorite. I'm huge on movies. It's one of my favorite things to do is watch movies. And since I was born after certain time periods, it takes me a while to get to certain movies because there's so many movies coming out that I still enjoy, and I have to go back and I watched Back to the Future for the first time when I was 14 because I just didn't know what it was because I was born after the 80s. So it happens. But I always wanted to get to it. I don't remember why it took me so long to get to those movies. But I just one day I had HBO Max and I was like, fuck it. watch an alien.
Yeah.
And I did. I was like, wow, it holds up. It's like 40 years old. Did you know that? It's like 40, 41 years old at this point. That's an old fucking movie.
Crazy to think about.
But like it looks so good because like there's little to no CGI. It's all practical. That's why Jurassic Park still looks good because it's just.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, go ahead, man.
Sorry. No. I'm basically done. I just thought I'd put it out there that it took me so fucking long to watch the first Aliens movie.
Yeah, I'm glad you watched it. Did you stop at the first one, or did you watch like the original?
I watched.
Trilogy
So this is how it happened. Actually, this is what wanted me to make me watch it. So I kind of enjoyed, and everybody who likes the Alien movies are probably gonna hate me. I kind of enjoyed the prequels because I didn't watch anything else but after. So
You're
I
talking
like Prometheus.
Prometheus?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I watched those because I heard that you didn't technically have to watch any of the other Alien movies to understand them. And I'll say that for Prometheus, 100%, you really don't have to watch anything. Alien Covenant, maybe. Because there is like some things in there that you might not get. But, so I watched Prometheus. I was like, this is pretty cool. And then I watched Alien Covenant. I was like, this is fucking freaky. This is pretty cool. So I was like, all right, well, there's nothing after it, so I have to watch Alien. So I just watched Alien. I was like, Alien is way better than these fucking prequels, but I still liked the prequels. I'm weird like that.
Yeah, no, and yeah, I would say a majority of the alien community probably
Will disagree with me 100%. They hate those movies.
I would say I thoroughly enjoyed both films for what they were.
I don't think as an alien movie they're very good. I think as movies they're good.
Yeah, and I didn't think they were very faithful to like, the source material and the lore, but yeah, I think as as the standalone two movies, I think they were pretty good. I liked the idea of like the creator rising up against the created and wanting to meet whoever created us in terms of
right.
And then in the second film, there's I don't want to do many spoilers, but the AI storyline, are you human? And
that part is probably why I enjoyed it so much because one, I love Michael Fassbender, and two, it was just I just really liked that whole thing.
One thing I want to make sure to mention on the topic of horror movies is something I saw recently, which I think didn't. Yeah, it's sitting at a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes right now, but I actually enjoyed it. It's a movie called Underwater. It came out last year.
Underwater is one of my favorite fucking movies in the last like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, right. The one with Kristen Stewart, right?
I fucking love that movie. I just recently showed it to my girlfriend. I love that movie.
Yeah. I think it's like the last movie I saw in theaters. I think
it's an hour and a half of pure just like, what the fuck is going on? And like finally you get to the end and you're like, I still don't know what's I know what's going on, but Jesus Christ, that happened so fast, and I loved I have to watch it again. Because everything happens so fast, and there's so much oh shit moments going on. And the storytelling, you have no fucking idea. Nobody if you haven't seen Underwater, don't watch the trailer before you watch it. Don't. Because that's like the perfect way to watch that movie. I did not see the trailer before I watched that movie. All I had was a synopsis of they're at the bottom of the ocean and their base the pressure starts crushing their base. That's all I got. And they have to walk across the water to the next base. Like that's all I got. Walking on the ocean floor, base is getting crushed. That's all. And then you watch it. Yeah, no, it completely blows you away. If you haven't seen Underwater, any of you, do not watch the trailer before watching it.
Highly recommend. And I think the shot, and I don't think this is a spoiler because it's called Underwater, but when they're actually like walking on the ocean floor.
Fuck that, dude. It looks so terrifying.
Man, I was like, I haven't really felt anxious watching a horror movie in a very, very long time, but I was like pins and needles because to be honest, the ocean terrifies me way more than space ever could.
No, yeah, 100%.
So that was just a big note for me. But yes, I echo his recommendation that you should watch it. Raven, have you seen it?
I have not.
Oh man.
Wow. What are you doing with your life?
Not watching movies.
Yeah, he doesn't watch
Damn.
many movies.
Oh.
But in the spirit of
Wait, what am I doing? I post almost daily. What do you ask me what I'm doing? Actually, stop it. No, hang on. What?
Listen, all right, don't get your panties in a knot. If you got an hour and a half of free time, just watch Underwater. That's all he's saying.
Okay, I can do that.
It's an hour and a half, and it may seem like a short time to get a good story through,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's so well written, and the acting is phenomenal by everybody. It's so good, and you feel so tense and anxious and dreadful the whole time. It's so good. There's not a
I'll have to
moment
check
where you're
that
like,
out.
there's not a moment after like maybe the first. Actually, within the first 30 seconds, you're already on the edge of your seat.
Yeah,
Because the first 30
against the
seconds, it's
wall
like
right out the
boom,
gate.
like what the fuck? It's already happening. Yeah, it's so good. I love that movie. Oh, I'm so glad that I found somebody else who has seen that movie and adores it because that movie is so good. Such a hidden gem.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, whew. Sorry.
Well, I'm glad I provided an adequate and fulfilling answer for you.
Oh yeah. I mean, if that's your favorite horror movie, I wouldn't even bat an eye at that. It's one of my favorites. I love that movie. I don't think Raven still has a favorite. No, he doesn't have a favorite horror game, right? That's what it was?
What?
Which one was it? There was one I asked
I don't really have a favorite horror movie. I have a favorite horror game. I like the Silent Hill series.
Right, okay, so it was movie. I couldn't remember because I asked you both questions and I couldn't remember which one you didn't give me an answer for.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It was movie because I just don't really have a favorite. Like, I've watched some interesting movies and I've watched some really bad ones, and in the end, it's just kind of like, eh. I'm more of a thriller person. Suspense. Not so much in the no, not that thriller.
Oh.
Not so much like the horror style.
You want to go scuba diving? I definitely don't want to fucking do that.
Yeah, I'm like not listening. I'm not looking at the chat anymore because they mentioned scuba diving, and now parasailing. I'm like, nope, terrified of
Nope.
heights, terrified of water.
Nope. Yeah, anime keeps asking, like, are we gonna, like, come on, just go, like, do this thing. No, fuck off. Let's go skydiving. No, I'm not going fucking skydiving.
Yeah.
I'm still, my biggest,
Let's go
one of my
bungee
biggest, one of my biggest fears is fucking skydive, like, not skydiving, but like heights. And I'm like, dude, I'm literally jumping out. I'm giving the world like my death sentence. I'm just like jumping out of a plane, and now I'm terrified the whole way down that I'm not gonna pull my fucking
We
parachute.
evolved to be scared of heights for a reason.
Yeah.
No, but I would go parasailing, but I'm definitely not jumping out of a plane or relying on a thin rubber string to keep me up.
What the heck is wrong with scuba diving? I don't know. You're jumping into the fucking ocean with no bottom. And like you can't see anything. Your only life support is a fucking thin tank on your back that could just get pierced by anything. No. Fuck that.
Jesus,
There's no wires, nothing. You're just in there. There's no fucking tubes that's holding you to the boat. Like if something pulls me down, I'm dead. Like I'm gone. Nothing's tugging on the boat.
Would you do the thing where they like lower you in the cage?
Oh.
No, because then I feel like I'm trapped.
If the cage falls, you're kind of trapped.
Yeah,
at
I'm
that
now
point.
trapped in the cage with no way out. But also, like, I feel like I'm already trapped. They're putting me in a cage. I feel like I'm now in a water prison.
Yeah.
which then triggers the thalassophobia.
Yeah. Now I'm staring into dark, open, like, nothingness, and I'm in
With
a
no way
fucking
out.
prison. Hell no. At that point, I'd rather be, like, freely swimming. I think I would go
die.
bungee jumping before I went skydiving.
Yeah, same. I think skydiving is
Because there's still something tethering me. I think that's like the only thing that's holding me to that, is that there's still something tethering me to like whatever I jumped off of. With skydiving, as soon as I jump out of the plane, if I don't pull that parachute, I'm fucking dead. My parachute fails, I'm fucking dead. I mean, yeah, if the bungee cord snaps, I'm still dead, but like there's still a little bit more safety there. I feel like a parachute would fail before a bungee cord like tears. It's just thick paper.
Would you do like there's those indoor like air tunnel skydiving things. Have you ever heard of those?
Yeah, there's one down the way from us, actually, from where I live.
Oh, like where they test, like it's like it looks
Sky
like,
Zone or something.
yeah, I would do that. Yeah, because I'm not like,
Indoor
I don't know,
skydiving.
16,000 feet in the sky.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna die there. That's why I would do that. I know I'm not gonna die. There's no way I'm gonna die unless I go straight into the fans. At that point, I'm the dumb one who jumped in front of a fucking fan.
You might break a few bones or something.
I might break a few bones, but I'll be fine.
I'd probably die there.
Why? Wait, why?
I don't know. I
You
feel
just
like
find
I
some way to
would.
kill yourself. Fuck it. Just jump into a fucking fan. Like, am I supposed to go this low? No? I don't know what I'm doing. Help!
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Basically, I don't find, personally in my life, the point to put myself in extreme danger. I don't get a thrill from that. It honestly just terrifies me. There is no adrenaline, nothing. That just scares the living shit out of me. I feel like I'd still go in space before you caught me scuba diving. Like, I'd still get sent up to the moon.
I mean, I'd prefer that, but I wouldn't necessarily say I would like.
I wouldn't like
I
either.
think one is.
But if you
more
were like,
palatable.
all right, we're going to shoot you up to the moon, or we're going to tell you to jump into the fucking ocean and we're going to leave you.
Okay, but at least if you get shot to the moon, if you don't make it, you get to like stare at space for the last few minutes of your life.
Yeah,
That sounds
that's
awesome.
Exactly my...
Like,
if I
looking
knew
at
I was,
space
like-
is so pretty, and then, like, looking in the fucking ocean is like, anything is probably looking at me. I can't see it, but it can see me.
There are
Yeah.
fewer sharks in space.
That should be the
With
once
my
we get
fucking luck, the
commercial
one
space
time I get
flight-
shot into space, there's, like, space sharks. It just chomps on my pod.
I agree with Magnetar. Whenever we do space travel, that's going to be the slogan.
Guys. What are you scared of?
There's fewer sharks, man. Come on.
Yeah.
We'll
Nobody
just have
said
like
zero.
our space station right next to like a port where there's a cruises going out.
I feel like that's like
Speaking of
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
not to detract too much, but speaking of space travel, domesticated space travel, I have been regularly signing up free entries to. So SpaceX is launching their first civilian crewed ship to orbit the Earth. They're sending 4 civilians up into space, and that's really, really amazing. And 2 of them are like kind of like raffles, and I'm just just saying, if anybody wants to try to go to space, go to SpaceX's website and enter to be chosen.
Yeah,
it's
Tesla will
really-
send you up into space.
Yeah,
You get a free Tesla.
I like
You
it.
get sent up into space, we'll shoot you off in a Tesla.
That's pretty cool, though.
That would be pretty cool, but like, what does it entail? Like, you just go up there for a little bit.
yeah. From understanding, you have like a week or 2 of like training and preparation, and then you're being piloted by some military guy, and then it's just the first civilian trip to space. Yeah, you just orbit, I think, for like a day or something like that.
I would
pretty
do
cool.
that.
Yeah, I would.
I would 100% do that. I don't think I
I
would
would
want like
die-
extensive, like a couple weeks. I think I would start going insane. Like,
Yeah.
that's just like, all right, this is not where I'm supposed to be. I know exactly where I am, and I don't want to be here anymore. Get me down.
Would you ever go to like the moon or Mars, or be like one of the first colonists if there was a
I feel like there would have to be there would have to be
Like, you
certain
want it to already
parameters
be
in
established?
place.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to start one.
I will go to the moon and be at the colony as soon as they open the first Starbucks. That's when I know that we're supposed to be there. Just saying.
They've like gentrified the moon.
Yes, whenever there's a Starbucks or a McDonald's, something like that, then I'll go.
Gotcha.
As soon as I can
Because
pull up
then
in my
you've
Rover to a
established.
McDonald's and order a 20-piece.
I'm looking at the chat here. Jaws in space sounds like a fantastic concept for a story. If someone wants to get on that.
Well, because someone said there's no sharks in space, that's why we're okay with it. And I said, no, I didn't say there were no sharks. I said there were fewer sharks.
It's just like the ocean. We have no idea what's up there. There could be space sharks.
Right. Space sharks sounds badass, to be honest with you.
It's going to be my new football team.
This is a way out there question because I know no one that has seen this movie, but there was an old animated movie. I don't know when it came out. I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I had it on VHS when I was a kid called Titan AE. Y'all ever heard of that?
That sounds really familiar, but I can't place it.
It's basically like the Earth blows up and all, a bunch of, human spaceships go to space for a colony and it just follows this guy, and they create like a new Earth. It's a whole thing. But in it, there's like these space dolphins and like stingrays that they fly around with. It's just super cool. And the visuals are really amazing for like an animated movie from back then.
This sounds like a precursor to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Let me see if I can get it.
I'm looking at the IMDb and it doesn't look familiar, but for some reason that name sounds super familiar. And this looks like something that my dad would have watched around that time.
Super. It looks like 2000, I guess, is when it came out.
Yeah, 2000. June 16th of June 2000, not 20,000. Shut up, Dark.
No.
I haven't watched it in probably a decade, but from what I remember, it was fire, and it was more directed towards like young adults. Like it's more mature, so it's not like a children's movie. Yeah,
that is a Matt Damon animated movie, if I remember right. That's what anime says.
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that. Yeah, starring the voices of Matt Damon, Drew Barrymore, Ron Perlman. Okay, yeah, I get that.
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying. This looks like something my dad would have rented from Blockbuster. Honestly.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to like age it or anything. I'm serious. Whenever that was like the family thing.
Speaking of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, has anybody actually seen that movie?
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay,
so many times.
Because like it's another one of those movies that I saw like maybe a couple years ago for the first time, and I really like weird, stupid movies. Sometimes like when they're intentionally satire, like and they're good at it, or sometimes in Hitchhiker's case, it's not very good. Like it's definitely
so. Okay, hang on. You're gonna touch a nerve on my side here.
Why?
The reason the movie wasn't that great was because they tried to push concepts from all 5 books into it and they fucked it up.
Yeah. I still liked it.
Okay, I've read all 5 books, so like
Okay.
it didn't work out right. If they would have made it like a trilogy and done all 5 books, they could have done that. I'm just saying.
That's what I was
Sorry.
hoping.
I mean, was the series any better? Because I know there was like a '80s BBC series.
I've actually never seen the old series.
I stumbled on it. I was like, oh, I didn't even fucking know this was a thing.
I've read the books though, so
It seems like it starts the same though, so I don't know. Maybe it's just
It's similar.
a little bit more spaced out than the movie was, but I don't know. Spaced out. I still like the movie though. I still think it's really funny.
Oh, it was.
It's
good,
really
but
fucking
no,
weird. It's really fucking weird.
Yes, Magnetar, I've read the books. Why do you gotta pick on me all the time, dude? What the hell?
I mean, because you're easy to pick on. That's why.
I see.
I still love you.
No, I haven't read the books. I would really love to. My brain doesn't have capacity to focus on something that long anymore. But I did enjoy the movies, though I do know it would have been way better if they had made it a trilogy or something like that.
Fucking listen to Audible, dude. I couldn't read books anymore because like my attention span would just and but I really wanted to like get into like I really love Harry Potter. I just can't read them anymore. I've read them so many fucking times. So I bought all the books and I had someone read them to me while I was working, and it's like the best thing ever. And being able to like listen to these things that I would never have the time to sit down and read while I'm working. I fucking love it. I just listened to all of the Maze Runner books. Completely different from the movies entirely. Like not even, it's like loosely based. It's so fucking different. If anybody cared.
Out of context. You just like, I had someone read them to me. It's like you hired somebody to follow you around and read the books out loud to you.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't realize you were that.
I had
kind of
Will
YouTuber
Wheaton just
already.
like.
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
He's making hella bank.
Hell.
Yeah, you got that
sure.
kind of money.
Yeah, sure.
You can hire a private.
I'm
book reader.
just saying.
Jeez,
I'm
dude.
just saying.
Sponsored by Audible. You've thrown their name out there like that.
I was at one point, but that fell through. Anyway, no,
Yeah,
but
sorry.
all I'm saying is, if you have trouble reading books because of like just time or your attention span is just falling apart, like mine, Audible, like, dude, fucking saved my existence. I have so much media consumption going through my life right now just by working. I love it. It's so great.
Did you know that some public libraries also let you rent audiobooks?
I did not.
The
Yeah.
Olathe Public Library, yeah, you can rent 3 audiobooks at a time. It's actually pretty cool.
Pretty cool. And some people are like, some of the audiobooks are really well done. Like some of them
Yes.
have like music and sound effects and shit. Really good. Really good stuff. Some of them is just like the ones that I prefer are the ones where they're just reading. Just well. Like they're narrating, but they're doing it well. Like that's the ones I enjoy. But some of them, like Harry Potter has like the music in it and stuff. It's really good. I just thought I'd throw that out there for anybody who is
Hashtag not a sponsorship.
hashtag big dumb boy like me.
Okay.
Will Wheaton, I
So-
would lose my mind if you could do that. Actually, Ready Player One on Audible is narrated by Will Wheaton. Did not know that. I need to buy that book.
I wanted to ask you a question, Magnetar. It's a question I ask sometimes to some people whenever I'm comfortable enough with asking it. So, if you were able to make your channel, I mean, your channel's doing great. But if you were to make a successful channel that wasn't narrations or doing what you were doing, what would it be?
Like what topic would it cover? What have you?
Right. So I think so. Like Jensen's answer was like animations because he likes to make animations kind of thing, even though he's a narrator. So, like, if you weren't a narrator and you had a successful channel, what would you think it would be, or what would you want it to be?
I have an answer, but I don't want to drive the topic to that topic. So I'm going to say a more safe answer. Probably something like news related, like tech news and like stock markets and stuff like that, which is completely unrelated to what I'm doing now.
Right.
Um, But like every other millennial during COVID, I got into investing and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I've helped my family out and a lot of really close friends of mine to kind of learn the ins and outs of it. And I've done a lot of research and have been following, and I would love to just be able to kind of share that knowledge with people from sort of a layman's perspective.
That's definitely an original answer. That's not one that anyone else has given for sure.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. So I don't know. Probably gaming.
Yeah, that would be my other one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like the dream for like every young child, right?
My
growing
answer
up,
is
I was
definitely
watching, like,
changed over time.
yeah,
I think I
like
would've-
watching Buscus or what have you.
No. No, what I mean is like I think if he would have asked me that like before COVID, it probably would have been like tech. Like phones and computers and stuff like that. Because I'm like super into it. I know a lot of shit about it and I would love to just like if I had a successful channel and I got like the review units and shit and I can base my channel around that, oh dude, it'd be so sick. I would love to do that. But now, after COVID, cooking probably.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Dude, I'm so into cooking right now. I'm slaying that fucking kitchen. It's
Nice.
it's been so much fun. Basically, for anybody who doesn't know, I did have COVID, late November through December, and during that time period, all I was doing was watching cooking videos. Like I was just like in a fucking feverish state. I would be like, oh yeah, more.
Did you
more
lose
chicken
your
wings."
taste?
No,
Okay,
but
well, that's good.
I did lose my smell, and partially it hasn't come back yet, and it's been almost 2 months. I have lost. I got my smell back in my left nostril. My right is gone. Like I cannot smell anything out of it. And they
That is
say
really weird.
within 6 months, if your smell, like from your first set of symptoms, if within 6 months, your smell doesn't come back entirely, it's gone forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're
Yeah.
saying that COVID is doing to people, like people's certain senses.
So, not to pull away from your experience, but yeah, I had COVID as well.
Mhm.
March 9th, 2020 was my first symptoms.
You
I
had
had
it
it for about a
really
month or
early.
so. Yeah, I was, everyone I knew, I was the first person they knew. And it was really scary for me because in my day job, I, meet a lot of people face to
Mhm.
face and talk to a lot of people. And I was just, a lot of them are older too. So I was really scared, not really for myself, but for who I could have, infected or what have you. But turns out everything's good. As far as I know, I didn't infect anybody. Um, but yeah, since then, I think I didn't get tested the second time, but I've been home. I haven't been interacting with people, but I think I had it again a month ago. My doctor thinks I did, and my partner actually works at a hospital in the city, and she's vaccinated and everything, but
Mhm.
I'm not. So who knows what she's bringing home with her, what have you.
Right.
So I think I had it again and recovered, but I've been dealing with this what they're calling long hauler syndrome, and there
Mm-hmm.
are more and more articles coming out of it where like some people months afterwards are still getting occasionally fevers, the chest pains, it's hard to breathe, and it comes in waves. So like when I wake up in the morning, I'm perfectly fine, but like by 12 and 1 p.m., I'm like passing out. I'm like having fevers. I'm like it's hard to stay
Yeah.
focused. It's really
Ever
horrible, and
since I
it's
had it, uh, it's not just like stress or anything. It's completely different. I
yeah,
fatigue so easily.
yep,
Like so fucking easily now. I cannot stay awake for more than like probably 4 or 5 hours at a time.
yeah,
And like
and
afterwards, I only fall asleep for like 4 hours. So it's like it. What sucks is that when I did have COVID, I slept so long, like 9 or 10 hours. Now, like 4,
yep.
and I can only last like 4 hours during the day. I get so fatigued so fast, and I didn't think about it so recently. I was like, I didn't feel like this before, and it's not like
Hmm.
I'm working any
Right.
differently. I'm doing exactly what I was doing before, and probably even less, and I'm still feeling horrible like all the time.
Yeah, man. I think yeah, right before this podcast, I think I was telling you guys I needed to I took
Yeah.
a spontaneous nap, and that's why. And beyond just the physical symptoms, like the more you start reading about it, and I'm not just talking about like forums and just like random people on Facebook, like the actual studies that are coming out now that it's been here for a year or so,
Mhm.
is that beyond the physical long-term symptoms, people are being found to have either increased anxiety, like PTSD, insomnia, and depression, or are
Mm-hmm.
being, was it? They're getting it, I should say. It's increasing their existing depression or what have you, or they're, developing it now at a higher rate. People who have had COVID. So there's just so
Right.
much about this disease and the long-term effects that we still don't know about. And, there might be a whole generation of people that have to deal with these consequences and talk about like are these symptoms going to be something that qualifies you for disability or something in the future?
Yeah.
Just it's yeah, it's
Once you
really
have COVID,
crazy.
it's never over.
Yeah,
It's
truly.
if you don't have the symptoms of like the long haul syndrome, you're going to probably have some type of long term effect, or maybe you won't. Maybe you're in like the very few percent that got out of it, and you're okay, completely.
Hmm.
But it's very very rare. A lot of people come out and their lungs are fucked up for life. They have trouble
Yeah.
breathing forever, or they lose their taste permanently, or they lose their smell permanently. Like me, probably partially, which is still terrible because I can barely taste some parts of food. I can't taste garlic anymore at all. So I tested it. I fucking put half a spoonful of minced garlic in my mouth. It just tastes sour.
Wow.
Yeah. All I got was like the slight kick of the garlic, and that was it. I can't taste it. Which is it's one of my favorite things to put in food, and I can't taste it anymore. It's as a person who like loves food, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Like I fucking hate it so much.
Yeah, that's why I asked about your taste whenever you were saying you were
Yeah.
watching all these cooking videos. I think that'd be horrible. You're getting into cooking finally and you're not
Mm-hmm.
able to taste the damn
Well,
thing.
that's the issue. It's like, oh, but you can still taste stuff. I'm like, but all right, you
It's
have
not
to
the same.
realize this. Taste is 80% aroma. So,
Yeah.
and this has been proven. The reason you can taste garlic so strongly is because of the pungent smell that comes off of it. That's why. And that's why I can't taste it, is because garlic is like 95% aroma in its taste. So that's why I can't taste it. And it sucks. Like, I can't, like, I can smell if I get really close to something. Not out of my right nostril, just my left. I've been going to a pub, and they have great wings. I can't smell them. I can't smell the steak that I'm cooking. Like, it's minor when I say it out loud, but honestly, when I talk about it, it makes me really fucking sad.
Yeah.
Because, like, I can't smell the food that I'm cooking. I hate it so much.
I wouldn't say that's minor though, dude. Seriously, that sucks. That absolutely sucks.
Yeah, it definitely sucks. A lot of people. What I'm saying is, a lot of people have it a lot worse than I do. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
a lot of people can't breathe right anymore. I'd rather be able to partially smell than not be able to fucking breathe in and out properly anymore.
Yeah.
Judas said you're a vampire. That's why
Because of the garlic.
you're a vampire now. Sorry.
But wouldn't that mean that I couldn't eat the garlic?
You would like.
Okay, you're half
doesn't it, like,
vampire.
hurt
No, I
sometimes?
think that wouldn't. That makes, just because I can't taste garlic doesn't mean that logic makes no sense.
It makes plenty of sense.
No!
You don't make no sense.
No, I just. I can't
Taste it because
smell
it
out of one of
burns
my
your taste buds, 'cause
senses.
It hurts you.
It's not that I don't make sense. It's that one of my senses are broken. It's partially.
Oh, we really got into a kind
This
of a
always
bummer
happens.
conversation.
It happens sometimes where we're just like, something comes up and we just take it too far. You should have seen the last like 2 episodes.
They've been a little out there.
Yeah, the other week was like complete ranting and like angry talking, and like last week was about creeps and sexism and stuff. It got. Sometimes we don't have light topics. Like, it's not just. Sometimes it's not just joking around. Sometimes like stuff comes up, and we're all adults, so like we just talk about it, and we get through it. And if people on the other end don't really like it, well, I'm not really advertising this as a horror podcast anymore, so.
Mhm.
I was at the beginning for sure. I was like, we
No,
got to
but-
talk about horror stuff.
But then you had what's his name on the game? What is his name?
the gamer, Voodoo
Yeah,
Lou.
what's his name? But thank you, Voodoo Lou.
And then I had
Then
Jingle
you had
Josh.
Voodoo Lou on, and it was like, and then Jingle Josh, and I was like, well, this isn't horror anymore, dude.
No, this is honestly just something on Sundays for us to just like be
Dude, it's a
creative,
hangout.
but not.
It's a hangout session. I
Yeah,
love it.
it's like being a part of the community, but not having to like put 95% of your fucking brain capacity into a video.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the first time we've actually had a serious convo, like a real serious technical convo about COVID. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's still a very prominent issue in the world, and
No, right. Well, I didn't. Yeah.
no. What I mean is, a lot of people still think that it's not happening, and that
We don't talk
is
about those people.
possibly
saw-
possibly one of the most ignorant fucking things ever.
Yeah, I just saw today that in spite of the new strain going through the UK and what have you, like Minnesota and a few other states are like lifting their mask ban or their mask,
Mandates.
mandate entirely, and Canada has asked American tourists to like not come to Canada.
But if
So it's just,
iZombie taught me anything, hot sauce is your friend. I haven't seen that show since like the 3rd season, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
That is so fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't see how any state could look at what's going on and be like, "Hey, let's lift all restrictions."
I saw it on Twitter. A couple of people I knew personally in the community started posting like, it's obvious COVID is just is a way for the government to scare people.
God.
And I saw that person say it. I'm like, please tell that to my grandmother who just passed away with COVID.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah,
That's
it was.
horrible.
It literally just literally the day after she passed away, I saw that, and I was like, it took everything in my power not to completely fucking block this person. Like, okay, he's ignorant, but I could tell like he wasn't saying it because he was aiming it towards anybody. Like, it was mainly just because he had really stupid misinformation, and he decided to, instead of fact checking, he just posted it.
See, that's the thing. Like, a lot of these people might not have, malintent, but the very fact that they're sharing this misinformation in itself is damaging.
Yes.
So, while some cases you can't necessarily blame somebody for their, ignorance or, not having access to information, like if they're posting on Twitter, they have access to the internet and they can easily, fact check these things. So I'm very, I guess, strident in my criticism of people sharing truly fake news that's damaging to society and stuff like that. But I don't know if we want to go down that rabbit hole. I guess I just want to say if you ever invite me back in the future, just know that I'm totally up for these serious conversations. I'm not someone that just has to keep it light all the time.
Any conversation.
If you ever have a serious
podcast
podcast planned, hit me up.
I mean, we don't really ever plan. I don't think we planned a single podcast. Maybe besides the first one. The first one was probably the one that we planned the most. Like, hey, we should probably not talk about this. Hey, we should probably... Because actually, when we started the podcast, there was a thing going on. We're not going to talk about what thing, but it was a thing. And me and Raven both agreed. We're just like, yeah, we're not talking about that.
Well, it was more like we were going to, and then it was like, yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah, things came up, and we're like, yeah, we're probably not going to do that. But we tried to keep it as constructed as we could. But like the second episode, Ladies Picaria came on, it just all like fell apart. Yeah, there's not really any structure to this. Like when we have people on for the first time, or especially people like you, where I'm not entirely familiar with you as a person, like I'll put more questions in those types of episodes because I want to know more about you, rather than like when I had Swamp Dweller on. I had known him for so long at that point. It was basically he just came on to. It was also he didn't want to interview, but even if he was cool with it, it probably wouldn't have been an interview anyway because I've known him for so long. Raven already knows who he is. Like,
it was just memes with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had, speaking of Swamp Dweller, I've had 0 interactions with him, and 30 minutes ago, I just saw a message from him on Twitter. So I don't know if he's in here watching this or just
he pops in. He pops in the podcast every so often. Plus, I also I retweeted your post, and he saw it. So
yeah,
that's probably what it was. Yeah. He posted on your
excited
thing. Let me see.
To know him,
dude. Don't be like. Don't be scared, nervous or anything to talk to him. He's one of the nicest people ever. Like, you could just walk up to him and be like, "Hey, dude, I love your shit. Would you like to work sometime?" Like, he'll totally fucking say yes if he has the free time.
Mm-hmm.
He may say something weird, and you might be like, "What the fuck did I just read?"
Yeah.
Just know that's him.
Yeah. Yeah. That.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that.
No, right. I'm just saying, like, just know that that's him.
Yeah. Swamp is super cool, and the reason probably you didn't have like a lot of interactions with him, especially recently, is that he just got his Twitter back. Like, his Twitter got completely cut off because
he made a new Twitter more so.
Yeah, someone banned his someone got his Twitter account banned for no fucking reason, and then he had to make a new one, and now he's just kind of like sitting back away from it. He kind of just does it to post stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw some of those like the hashtag free Swamp Dwellers. When
we were all posting it all like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I had no context for that, but I was like, oh, okay, it's some, YouTube's doing it again. But...
Yeah,
pretty much.
Basically,
or Twitter's doing it again, I should say.
Yeah. Twitter is another one of those platforms that is not really regulated properly. They're very hypocritical about like their policies. Like, yeah, we don't want that on here, and then someone who like brings them so much like ad revenue and everything, they'll be like, oh yeah, no, they could do that, but what about me? No, but nobody knows who you are, so
yep,
banned. They know who that person is. It's gonna be a lot harder to get rid of them. It's like, oh, that's fucked up. It's the same thing with Twitch. Like, there's so many people on Twitch who like actively are racist and sexist or flash their fucking tits all over the screen, And then there's that occasional time where one person accidentally shows too much because they like stretched and their shirt lifted up a tiny bit. And Twitch is like, oh,
Inappropriate conduct, ban.
Stomach! Like, and they fucking completely ban them. Yeah. That's the social shit that we live in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, I don't know if you were going to call it here soon there, Dark.
In a second, yeah, but whatever you want to say.
Well, I was going to say, Magnetar, do you have everything you want to plug or anything you want to advertise of yourself? I linked to your channel and your merch store in the chat earlier. But any like projects coming up that you want to plug or anything like that, man?
Yeah, so, and I've announced this on Twitter already with Beautiful Nightmare, with some amazing artwork done by our favorite artist, Yeah Man TV. She and I are working on getting a collaboration set up together. We're likely going to do a 2-part narration, one on her channel, one on mine. So look forward to that. And then Madame Frightmare and I are also talking right now, and apparently Swamp Dweller and I will be discussing collaborations as well. So there should be some really cool collabs coming out in the next few weeks. So
Nice.
of course I'll share that on my Twitter and Discord or what have you.
Sweet.
Notice he did not include you in that, Dark.
Oh, because we haven't talked
Bitch.
about anything.
Nah, you bitch. Anyway.
Bitch, if I want Magnetar on my video, I'm gonna get Magnetar on my video.
I know.
I'm very sure about that.
I will absorb you. I will become the
Great.
Dark Magnetar.
I had to get one up on you. I'm sorry.
Yeah? Whatever.
I don't usually get the chance. Anyway.
I mean, you're already about to surpass me, so you have another up on me.
No. Stop
Yeah,
it. No numbers.
You're literally like 10
20
subs away.
No numbers. No numbers.
Numbers.
I'm not talking numbers. I'm talking. I don't actually.
Really? You're not talking numbers?
In this context, yes, I'm not talking numbers.
That's
Piss off.
for anybody who doesn't know. I'm not gonna explain it, but there's like it's funny. It's funny.
There's like it's funny.
It's just funny. It's there's this inside thing. Raven is sometimes too analytical. Let's just say that.
Yes, I know.
But it's fine. You've gotten better. It's cool. I can't even say that like I don't like literally look at my fucking analytics all the time. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the Darkness Podcast. Magnetar's links are down in the description. His Twitter and his YouTube are down there. Please go check that out. He's a fucking super
listen
talented.
to his stuff. Go listen to Another Earth. That's my favorite video of his.
Just go
Sorry.
fucking subscribe. Like all of his stuff. He's doing so good, and I want him to succeed. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, like I said, thank you guys so much for listening. I am Tita in Horror Stories. That is As the Raven Dreams. This is the DarkNest Podcast. Next week, we're having N. Murdoch, who is a fucking amazing author. And we're trying to get Slumber Reads on. That's going to be cool.
The week after.
Yeah.
Cool.
He said 7 p.m. I think he said 7 p.m. Central. And I was
Yes.
like, yeah, we have to figure out something else. Because that's like, I'll be getting off at 9 o'clock and I got to work the next day. So, sorry, Slumber. We might have to change that. Anyways, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next week for another episode of the DarkNest Podcast.